think that for sure he was one of the best center backs in the world at that time and in the history. I was very lucky to play alongside him for so many years, and right now I'm trying to do what he did to me when I was young.
Carles Puyol is one of the last football players for whom the words captain and loyalty are not just empty sounds. In modern football, the captain's armband is gradually losing its significance. It is no longer the badge of honor that it was at the beginning of the century, and is only a simple formality. Now it is used to express support for certain minorities, but it hasn't always been this way. In this video, using Puyol as an example, we will remind you who a captain really is, what qualities he should have, and why modern football lacks him so much. You are on the Foot History channel. Enjoy the video. Carles Puyol Saforcada is a Spanish defender who is an exemplary leader. He was a player you couldn't hate even if you're a hardcore Real Madrid fan. Puyol is the perfect image of a football player that every fan wants to see in his team. Carles Puyol was born on April 13, 1978 in Puebla de Segura of Spain, where a little more than 3,000 people live. But even in this small town, there is a football team in which the Catalans started playing.
Chaval deportista ejemplar, ¿no? Con espíritu de trabajo e ilusión en superarse. Lo que más me impresionó de él era el carácter, tenía un carácter ganador.
At the beginning of his football biography, Carles played as a goalkeeper. The first coach of the football player said that Puyol would have a great future even if he remained as a goalkeeper. However, the boy's mother Rosa asked him to put him in the goalkeeper position less because he had contraindications for health reasons.
Que el poguéssim veure per la qualitat que hi ha. Després ja...
Qui és? Perdoni, qui és? Aquest, el més pelut?
L'amic Pujol.
At the age of 17, Puyol entered the Barcelona academy. While still in the junior team, he was repeatedly offered to change the team, as they did not see much potential in Puyol, but each time he refused these offers and continued to train hard. A really interesting option appeared when Carles turned 20. Malaga Football Club offered him his first professional contract. It was a real opportunity to get into big football. However, Puyol refused again. He hoped that he would be able to join the starting lineup of Barcelona. The football player was rewarded for his patience in 1999. The long-awaited debut for the team happened only at the age of 21. At first, they even laughed at him a little, a rather atypical appearance and a lack of technique in comparison with fellow players. A couple of years passed and he was first recognized as the discovery of La Liga, and then got into the symbolic UEFA national team. He refused Real Madrid with the words that he was already playing at the best club in the world, and in 2003 Manchester United with the great Ferguson. At the same time, Barcelona was on the decline in those years and has not won anything since 1999. Carles received the captain's armband for the first time at 25 and won his first serious trophy at 27. Puyol became the basis of Barcelona's defense. Guardiola's arrival in the team only secured a place in the starting lineup for Carles. The Spanish national team also noticed this outstanding defender, and together with Puyol, Spain dominated world football from 2008 to 2012. The achievement of the Spanish national team was that there was not a single missed goal in 10 playoff games for 3 major tournaments in a row. With his dedication to the club, the defender has earned the love of the fans. In addition to this, Carles Puyol was one of the most selfless players. If he needed to use his head to save the goal, he did. Get hit in the face with the ball, but save the team from a goal? Not a problem for him. Taking care of himself was not about Puyol. The defender broke his cheekbone 2 times. The second time, the injury was especially serious. In a jump for the ball, the Catalan collided with the opponent's head, but Puyol could not do without his favorite move. He returned to the game in a mask specially made for him, which protected the fusing bones. A year after the recurrence of the injury, Carles is again forced to take to the field in a mask. Barcelona fans decided to support the team captain. Thousands of people came to the match in the same masks. According to Puyol, it turned out to be an unexpected and pleasant moment for him.
Un conocimiento de cuántas veces rompiste el pómulo y eso es la máscara para protegerte.
4 veces, y la verdad es que las máscaras han evolucionado porque la primera era no era transparente, era muy difícil ver, muy incómoda, y esta ya está mucho mejor.
On October 2nd, 2012, in a Champions League match, the defender breaks his arm. However, the Spaniard returned to the field after 45 days. Bone fractures, muscle injuries could not knock him down out of the game. For a long time, the defender was constantly eager to fight. There was a funny opinion about the player on the internet. Even if Puyol dies, he will return to the field in 3 weeks. Going out on the field against Barcelona's number 5, the players understood that he would chase them the whole game, use tackles, and do everything to stop them. But as a rule, Carles did not allow himself to go beyond what was allowed. He did not try to annoy and provoke his opponent. He always preferred taking the ball back at the risk of his own health, rather than a sneaky backhand. This is evident from his statistics of getting deleted. During his career, the central defender received only 2 red cards. The Spaniard treated his opponent with the utmost respect. The football player keeps his personal life a secret. Carles avoids talking about this topic, explaining that his personal life is his personal space. Puyol presented his first girlfriend to the general public only at her request, and because of an unpleasant moment. It was all because of an unpleasant situation in the supermarket, where the football player was met by a girl named Marina. She recognized him and asked him to take a picture. A couple of days later, journalists found this picture on social media and immediately published it in the newspapers, saying Marina was the football player's girlfriend and the future Señora Puyol. Even though Marina and Puyol denied this, the topic was entertained, right until the moment when Carles provided the press with a photo report with his real girlfriend Agnes. When the doubts were dispelled, Carles again began to avoid stories about his personal life. Barcelona's success was largely due to Puyol. A team is not just about playing once or twice a week. This is the people, the atmosphere at training, in the locker room, on the bus when the team goes to a game or training.
Maybe he wasn't the best in the ball when he started, but then he improved a lot, and I think that for sure he was one of the best center backs in the world at that time and in the history.
The captain tried to resolve all the conflicts of the players, not only in his club, but also in the national team. The fact that before Euro 2012, the Spanish national team did not split into 2 camps after the fiery matches of Barcelona and Real Madrid, with the hatred of the players for each other, is undoubtedly thanks to Puyol, as well as Xavi and Casillas. The 3 leaders met and, after talking, agreed that the animosity between their teams harms the atmosphere in the national team. Carles insisted that respect should come first, and only then can there be rivalry. Mourinho was furious after this meeting, but the Spaniards rallied again and defended their title of the best national team in Europe. Unfortunately, Carles missed that tournament due to injury. Puyol's beautiful gestures always happened on their own, probably because he didn't care how it would look from the outside. Let's remember the friendly tournament at the Camp Nou in 2010. Ronaldinho, as part of Milan, returned to the stadium of the former team. At the beginning of the game, Puyol invited the Brazilian to take a joint team photo. After Barca's victory in the tournament, the Spaniard handed the cup to Ronaldinho, the player whose team lost. This is certainly not a feat, but not everyone would do it. A year later, Puyol demonstrated his leadership qualities yet again. The night at Wembley in 2011 is one of the biggest nights in Barcelona's history. The fans are cheering, the players are rejoicing, the atmosphere is incredible. Carles had just recovered from an injury and spent the game on the bench. The coach releases his captain in the last minutes to be the first to lift the trophy over his head. This is the dream of every football player, regardless of whether he lifts the cup for the first time or not. Nevertheless, the captain did not hesitate for a second. He took off his armband and handed it to Eric Abidal, who had just won his fight with cancer. When Barcelona won La Liga, our hero repeated his gesture. He allowed Abidal, who had recently undergone a liver transplant, to lift the trophy together with Tito Vilanova, who had throat cancer and later unfortunately died of it. Football players like Puyol compensate with their image and behavior for the pitiful deeds of their teammates, for example Busquets and other football players who love to simulate. After all, this is exactly what a captain should do. That's what he's for, hide flaws and lead. One of the reasons why Barcelona has been so unstable in recent years is the absence of a captain like Carles. Let's recall the moment when a bottle was thrown from the podium at the Barcelona players. Several players showed how they were hurt and lied on the field. It is difficult to imagine such a thing in Puyol's presence. something similar happened when he was playing for Barcelona. A lighter was thrown at Piqué from the stands, and he immediately went to complain to the referee. Carles snatched the lighter from the defender's hands and threw it out of the field, saying to Piqué, "Stop with the nonsense, get yourself together." There was also a moment when the Barcelona players celebrated the 5th goal scored against Rayo Vallecano. Thiago and Dani Alves decided to perform a victory dance, but they were immediately stopped by Puyol. "Why are you mocking the opponent's fans? It's already a shame for them to lose." After the game, both players apologized to the Vallecano fans. The last 3 years in the defender's career have been stained by knee pains. Accustomed to playing to the limit of his abilities regardless of the opponent and the tournament, Carles Puyol, at the age of 35, announced that it was time for him to leave.
For me, it was an example. When I arrived here, I was 21-year-old, and he was an example. I was very lucky to play alongside him for so many years, and right now I'm trying to do what he did to me when I was young.
Thus, he became the first Barcelona player to start and finish his career at this club in the last 30 years. 16 seasons, 10 years team captain, 632 games, and 21 trophies. The legend did not raise a huge fuss around his departure, spending a little more than 1 minute of time on his final words. He hinted that he could no longer play at the level the club deserved. Puyol's dream of playing until the age of 40 was never destined to come true. Later, he admitted that if he had been more careful about his health and recovery, everything could have turned out, but in this case he wouldn't have been himself. And it's true, the desire to win and sacrifice himself for the sake of the team is his innate quality. In 2019, a photo of the happy bleeding former captain of Barcelona appeared on the internet. Carles was playing one of their varieties of tennis. Once again, as always, he went all out and decided to reach a difficult ball, flying into the protective glass. The Spaniard captioned the photo like this: "Someday I will learn to rest." In 2014, Carles was the deputy sports director of Barcelona. After leaving this position, Puyol began agency work and became a FIFA ambassador. In 2019, the former football player could return to his hometown club again as a sports director. Thanking Barcelona for their trust, the legend decided to refuse the offer. He was honest with the club, saying that he had his own projects and would not be able to give his all to this position. This is one of his main principles. For the last 6 years, the Spaniard has been engaged in a project not typical of former football players. It's called Coliseum. It's a social network that will connect fans with their idols. This virtual world allows users to meet, play, and chat together on the platform. And now I would like to go back to where we started the video from, to the role of the captain and his importance. The armband is not a formality, at least for us fans. This is the face of the team. It can attract both new fans and alienate old ones. After all, Roma with Totti, and without him, Real Madrid with Casillas and Real Madrid with Ramos are different teams, different values. Not every team has players like Puyol who are ready to take responsibility for the team and for the result. Carles is a great example for the younger generation. I recommend watching my video about Oliver Kahn's career, the German fierce and fearless goalkeeper, who was feared not only by his rivals, but also by the players who played with him in the same team. See you later!